Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Mimi's Place. Today, I'd like to just go over some items that I think are essential. As you know, my channel is and always has been and always will be about staying frugal, living a frugal life, but living in abundance. Today is no different. I've thrown in a lot of different topics on my channel, and we've had a lot of fun. I've done a lot of different videos. I've done a good variety, but I want to get back to the basics of what my channel is all about. Mimi's Place is basically about being independent, being frugal, and being mindful, and also being prepared. You got to get prepped, guys. So before we get into this video, as always, I'm going to ask you to give me a thumbs up, share out my channel, hit subscribe if you haven't, and as always, your comments are always welcome. Today, I wanted to just talk to you guys about everything that is going on in the world and all the catastrophes that could be on the horizon. So as preppers, we want to make sure that we are always prepared for whatever can happen. Right now, food is a big insecurity for many, many people. There are food shortages. There are very, very expensive food prices. There are food recalls. There are farms that no longer exist or are going to be closing. We're going to need food, and what better way to get it then is to get it in bulk or in various forms, learn to preserve it in various ways. So today I'm going to just talk to you about some basics that everybody needs to start hoarding, and then we can get into how to preserve it for long-term storage. So first on the list is beans and lentils. So you can get dry beans pretty darn cheap. This was a pound. I don't even think it was $2, like $1.50. The lentils were like, I don't know, $1 or so at Aldi. I also have canned my own northern beans. That's a good way to preserve them. And I did can a lot of black beans, and these are the only black dry beans that I have left. So I just wanted to show you that you can store them in a mason jar. You can can them. You can buy them canned if you like, or you could buy the dry beans. You could just leave them in a bag and put a bunch of bags in a 5-gallon bucket. If that's what you want to do, that would be fine too. Make sure it's airtight. So beans are very high in protein, and we're going to need the protein, okay? The protein is going to help keep your muscles strong, build back any muscle loss, and it is very, very essential to everyone's diet. I also have rice in various forms. Now, the rice that I'm showing you now is a homemade DIY Spanish rice mix that I made and I put in a jar. And I know exactly how to cook it. I have cooking instructions on the back of it, so I know what to do with it. Rice will last forever. Freeze it for a few days, throw it in a 5-gallon bucket, throw an oxygen absorber in it, and you're good to go. You're also going to want a honey. Honey is good for medicinal purposes as it is as a sweetener. So you're going to want to get a good honey. Even if you just get 1 or 2, just get them and put them back. Oats. Oatmeal can be used. Some people like to use it to stretch out some of the dishes that they make. I don't particularly like to do that. If it came down to survival, yes, I would. But I do like my oatmeal in the morning. So make sure you get yourself some oats. And you can make cookies with them also. You can make oat bread. You can make your own oat flour if you had to. Oatmeal, you get the picture. Shelf-stable milk is another one. This one is a chocolate milk, but you can get plain, you can get almond, you can get 1% whole milk, 2%. It comes in various forms. So shelf-stable milk is really good to have on hand. Salt can be used for many different things. Always make sure you have plenty of salt. Stockpile it. It's cheap. It's cheap prep to go get. Canned fruit. Now you can can your own. You can dehydrate your own. Or you can buy it canned. And I have various types of fruit that I like to keep. Right now I'm showing you my canned peaches. Canned soups. Soups are a great quick meal. It doesn't require any water. You can just heat it up, okay? This is something you can heat up really quickly. So always try to have some of your home canned soups on hand if you can, or buy the commercial made soups in a can. It may not be something you eat every day, but let me tell you, if you had to eat it, you could just open it up, heat it up, and eat it, and you'll be glad that you had it stockpiled. Canned vegetables, I'm just showing you two variations of what I have. I have asparagus and cut leaf spinach. Don't turn your nose up. The cut leaf spinach is the absolute best spinach. I used to buy frozen and not anymore. And it is way too, it shrinks down way too much to buy enough to can or dehydrate. It's like it's not even worth the energy it would take, literally, like the electricity. So I just buy it like this and I fix it the way I want. Asparagus, I prefer fresh. However, we're talking about nutrients, things that are going to help sustain us. We're going to need our vitamins. If the grid goes down and we don't have power, everything in our freezer is going to go bad. Always have a backup to your backup. Next on the list is peanut butter. Peanut butter is loaded with healthy fat, sometimes bad fat, and protein. And you're going to want your peanut butter. God forbid, you had to just open a jar, have a spoon or two to give you some extra protein, or you could throw it in your oatmeal, whatever you prefer. You could throw it on bread for a peanut butter sandwich. Always good to have. Various types of tomatoes. I like to keep tomato paste, little tiny cans of tomato sauce. I like my kitchen tomatoes that I like to make gravy with, and I like diced tomatoes. So always try to have various kinds of tomatoes available to make different things. You can pick these up really cheap. You could get like a case of, or 12 at Aldi, a case of tomatoes, the little tiny cans of tomato sauce. And the next week you can go back, if you got a few extra bucks, and you can go back and you can get the tomato paste, and then you can go get the diced tomatoes. See what I mean? Okay, so it's not a lot of money at one time. It is not a lot of effort. Broth. You can buy box broth, canned broth, or bouillon, or you can make it yourself. So I refuse to pay for something that I can make myself, and I prefer making vegetable broth and my own healthy bone broth. Nothing is added to it. It's just all bone or all vegetable broth. I love to make pilaf with this. I like to make soups with it. I can make gravies with it. I can just pour it in a cup, heat it up, and sip on it for lunch with some crackers. Lots and lots of things you can do. You're going to want some sugar because you're going to want your tea and your coffee, which I am going to tell you about in a minute. So tea and coffee, if you use sugar, you're going to want your sugar, or at least get your honey. Stock up on your flour. You're going to want to stock up on flour. You can make pasta with it. You can make pancakes. You can make bread, rolls, biscuits, muffins, anything that requires flour or anything that is baked at a store, you can make at home. Homemade pasta is the absolute best. So always make sure you have your flour on hand. You got your lentils, your beans, you got some fruits, vegetables. How much to keep on hand? Well, that's up to you, and you have to decide. But if I were you guys, with the looming port strikes coming, trucks are stranded in the Midwest because of the snowstorm, so they can't get through. We have January 20th coming, and you know something's going to happen about around that time. We have a ton of viruses, flus, respiratory illnesses, and everything else going around. We don't know if we're going to be told to stay home and put a diaper on our face again. So you don't know what can happen. You don't know if you're going to be able to get out. You don't know if you do get out, are these items going to be available? Not only will they be available, question mark, but what is it going to cost? Food prices are expected to go up over 30% next month. 30%. On top of what they already are. And there are lots of food recalls. So you're going to want to check your stockpile. If you have anything on a recall list, you can take it back, ask for a refund. Or if not, you could just toss it. Don't even use it. Don't give it away. You don't want anyone else getting sick. But these are just some basics. If you have some basics items in the house, in your prepper pantry, you will be prepared to make just about anything that you need and possibly some things that you want. So we're talking, the future president is talking about a possible Great Depression, and I believe it can happen. Just because it didn't happen in the last 4 years does not mean that it isn't going to happen because of the last 4 years. It can still happen based on what's been going on for 4 years. The economy is about to crash. We are in a mess, guys, and you need to be prepared. The time to prep is now. Stockpile, hoard the food, get the items you have to get, and get them now. I promise you, you will not be sorry. When you go to reach for something on your shelf, at the very least, it means you don't have to run out to the store for it. And it's a bonus if you can get it today's prices and be able to use it in 6 months or a year at today's prices, because every day the prices are just going up and up and up. Things are getting scarce again. Don't hesitate to prep and stockpile, stock up, hoard whatever you can, and buckle up, because this is going to be a very rough ride. I hope you liked this video. I hope that I enlightened you, gave you some information, inspired you at the very least to get out there and prep. Love you guys. Stay healthy, stay prepped, stay stocked up. I'll catch you on my next one.